From brutal sieges to diplomatic indifferences, Sudan is suffering in silence as one of the world's worst humanitarian crises deepens. Millions are displaced, famine tightens its grip, and entire communities vanish under fire, yet the global response remains hesitant at best. In our first story, we examine why the world continues to look away as Sudan endures a poly crisis of war, starvation, and sexual violence. What happened to the international diplomacy, and what happened to humanity? Later, we turn to Zamzam, a camp meant to shelter the displaced, now turned into a massacre site. Systematic destruction, scorched air tactics, and genocide accusations have left the world watching but not acting. I'm Rana Al-Qassas. Let's watch in focus. As the war in Sudan enters its third year, the humanitarian crisis has reached unprecedented levels. In a powerful op-ed, UN humanitarian chief Tom Fletcher warned the global scaffolding such suffering is collapsing. Meant rather to prevent that such his call to action couldn't be more urgent. 30 million Sudanese need life-saving assistance. Famine is now confirmed in multiple areas. 12 million people have fled their homes, and over 90 others aid workers, mostly Sudanese, have been killed. Despite this, global funding has barely scratched the surface. Of the $4.2 billion needed for 2025, less than 10% have been secured. This question is no longer what is happening in Sudan. It is whether the world has the will to stop what's happening. Joining us now is Mr. Mekki Al-Maghrabi, writer and former diplomat in Washington, D.C., and head of international relations at the Sudan Center for Think Tanks and Strategic Studies. Very good day, sir, and it's a pleasure to have you with us in today's episode of In Focus. Mr. Mekki, the United Nations says Sudan is the worst humanitarian crisis on earth right now. What are the conditions on the ground, and why has the world failed to act?
Yes, I think the questions that you raised before was excellent. The question now is not what is happening in Sudan. The question is what is the international community and the international organizations will do to stop the ongoing crisis, the ongoing genocide, the ongoing violation against human rights in Sudan. What they shall do to stop the terrorist RSF militia. I just want to put you in the nearest development and closer to the picture now, because it is not matter of reports. The United Nations has the reports, the international community, the big players in the world, the United States, Europe, they have the reports. And also now, after the liberation of Khartoum, they have the headquarters and the premises and the buildings and embassies now, and representative of countries and organizations, they went to their buildings and they saw what the militia have done in the capital Khartoum, what they have done in their buildings. They stole everything, even the electric cables on the wall. They dig the wall, they took the cables, they took the furniture, they took everything, and they ship it to Chad, to South Sudan, to West Africa, to Central Africa. The international community and their representative now, after the liberation of Khartoum, they have the clearer picture. It is not just a matter of report. Actually, they don't need that before because already the massacre of Masalit in May 2023, it was clear that this militia is killing civilians. It has been classified as a genocide, and RSF has been classified as practicing genocide by United States, by several other countries, by the United Nations. The Sultan or the chief of the Masalit tribe, he addressed the United Nations Security Council and he gave them the clearer picture of what is going on Sudan, so that you are true. The question now is not what is going on Sudan, but why they are silent, why they didn't stop.
Can you answer the question, sir? Why are they silent? Why the international diplomacy
I think
and international community is silent towards all these genocides and atrocities that are taking place towards Sudan and Sudanese?
It is not just the double standard in Palestine, in Gaza, in every place in the world. They practice the same thing. And actually, now it is mixed with the wave of the new colonialism for Africa, the new scramble for Africa. It is not just Sudan. Look, Somalia, Libya, other countries, the Sahel region, now the scramble for Africa. They are fighting for Africa, to take everything from Africa, to loot Africa, to take the wealth and the treasures of Africa. This is why they are silent, because they are not looking to the people, they are not looking to the human rights, they are looking just to the mineral resources, and they are looking to the wealth of African people to take it from them. This is why they are silent, because they don't care about the bloods that the militia pour it on the ground now from the Sudanese bodies, from the Sudanese people. The people.
But sir, what I understood from you now and your narrative is that this is not only happening in Sudan, but it's also happening in Gaza. It's happening in many places in Africa, or many countries in Africa,
Yes.
which makes it that the international community is watching on purpose. Did I get you right?
Even in Somalia, now they want to cut Somalia to two countries for no reason. They just want to take
maybe they want to weaken it,
of,
sir. Maybe there's a reason of weakening Somalia, not the idea of that there's no reason. They are targeting. This is what you're saying, not me, or what
yes,
I get,
yes,
or what I understand is that they're weakening these countries on purpose.
They are weakening these countries. They don't care about the human rights. They don't care about the people. They just give us lip service or lip swear just to show that they are taking care of us, but they are not. They just want to dismantle Sudan.
Sir, are they taking care of us? Yes or no?
Yes, again?
Are they taking care of what's going on all around the Middle East and Africa? Yes or no?
No.
No. Okay, this takes us to another question, Mr. Maghrabi. We've seen UN appeals, donor conferences, and media coverage, but aid isn't reaching many parts of the country. What are the key barriers, sir, from your own perspective?
Look here, Sudan is not just targeted for Sudan. It's not just targeted because of its resources. It is targeted also because of the neighbors. And number one, Egypt, because if you target Egypt from the east, if you target Egypt from the south, and I just give you the words that the vice president of Sudan said, Malik Agar. He said that the war didn't start it in April 15. It started in April 13 because Sudan has an agreement of training with Egypt, and there was Egyptian.
So, sir, you think from your own perspective that their main target now is Egypt?
Yes, that's true by 100%. And look here, Egypt is targeted. Look at Libya. Look at the east. Look at Sudan, and also not just Egypt. Look at Algeria. They just want to wage the war in the east of Algeria. they just go to Somalia. They want to cut Somaliland out of Somalia
True.
and to make military bases there for Ethiopia, and that is not for the sake of Ethiopia. That is to threat the Red Sea, to threat the Suez Canal, to threat Egypt. So
Okay, sir, do you think anybody can threat Egypt?
yes, by 100%, I'm pretty sure that Israel is there, is not, it hasn't big distance from what is going on the ground. They are allying with other regional actors that they have been fooled and pushed against their brothers in the region, and this is how it happened now in Sudan. But luckily, now the Sudanese army is advancing. The military situation or the military balance now in favoring Sudanese and Sudan and Sudanese army. Now Khartoum is back, Jazeera State is back, Madani is back, Jabal Moya is back, and now the army is fighting in Kordofan and will reach Darfur very soon, and they are gathering their elements around Darfur, and they are saying that we will threat north of Sudan, and that person who is the deputy of the head of the militia is coming out and saying we are I sat with the Egyptian and blah 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 is just talk. He just talk to his audience and gave them lies.
Okay,
about his
sir,
situation.
the EU recently pledged over 500 million euros, but many frontline groups remain underfunded. Where should these resources be directed first from your own perspective, sir?
I think the issue of the fund is something just the issue of the fund for humanitarian thing is just lies. The issue of helping Sudan, big lies. We witnessed that in the conference of Geneva. They just gather people to put Sudanese crisis as a board to write the money on it, and after that, if we ask question, the Yemeni people, they are taken to Geneva, nothing happened, Yemen dismantled. The Libyan people taken to Geneva, what has happened? Libya dismantled. The Syrian people taken to Geneva, what happened? Syria dismantled. And now they want to take Sudan to Geneva, but luckily the Sudanese leadership, they said, we have some concerns because you should name you should not name RSF as a partner of peace. RSF is a criminal who killed Sudanese people, and also other concerns about some regional countries that supporting the militia.
Okay, before I wrap up this segment, sir, because I'm out of time, Mr. Mekki Maghrabi, I need an answer to the question, why isn't aid reaching many parts of the country, and what are the key barriers, sir?
Again, please.
What are the key barriers behind the aid that's not reaching many parts of Sudan, sir?
Look here, the aid is a big complicated thing, and they make it more complicated because they want the aid to reach the militia areas first. They don't want to help Sudanese people. I will give you an example, and this example explained by President Burhan himself in a press conference. He said that Al Jineina is a place that they practice the massacre against Masalit people, and now they want to bring the aid to Al Jineina, which the original people evacuated out of Al Jineina. And the new settlers, the aggressors, settled in Jineina, and they want to bring the aid to Jineina. When Sudan stopped that, they said Sudan is stopping the humanitarian aid. But when they have the aid, they bring it to militia area. We don't trust them anymore.
Got you, sir.
And that is against human rights, against humanitarian law, anything.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mickey Al-Maghrabi, for your intake and valuable and intellectual, informative knowledge. Please stay with us as we move to our second story. While diplomatic paralysis continues, events on the ground are moving at a horrifying pace. The spotlight now turns to one of the darkest chapters of this war, the systematic attack on the Zamzam displacement camp in North Darfur. What happened there is not just a tragedy, it's a war crime in real time. From April the 11th to the 14th, the Rapid Support Forces launched a brutal siege on Zamzam refugee camp, home to nearly 1 million displaced Sudanese. More than 300 were killed, thousands fled on foot. Satellite images confirm a scorched earth campaign. Entire neighborhoods and aid centers were burned. Despite widespread documentation of these atrocities, including video evidence and reports from Yali's humanitarian lab, the world has done little. A recent London donor conference ended in deadlock. The United States State Department has issued condemnation but avoided declaring this genocide, even as the Rapid Support Forces RSF forces target non-Arab groups in Darfur, mirroring the Janjaweed campaigns of the early 2000s. Mr. Mickey Al-Maghrabi is still with us to unpack what's unfolding in Zamzam and why the world remains frozen in silence. Mr. Mickey, welcome back again.
Thank you.
Sir, how do you interpret the attack on Zamzam? Of course, we all read as a genocide and atrocity, sir. And what does it reveal about the RSF's long-term objectives, sir?
The long-term objective, actually, it is short-term objective now, because they are.
Sir, this is contradicting. Could you please elaborate more or explain more?
Yes.
Long-term is short-term.
The thing that we are thinking it is long-term objective to genocide the original people of Darfur and to bring new settlers from outside. Therefore, actually, now it is not long-term anymore. It is short-term. It is reality. They made it in Masalit, Al-Jinena. If you just Google Al-Jinena massacre, you find that the RSF killed the people of Masalit in Al-Jinena city, and then they bring the settlers from
You just mentioned this in your first segment, sir. You did.
Yes, and now Zamzam the same. The Zamzam is refugee camps. Zamzam, Abu Shok, As-Salam, and others, they are targeting all. Now they started with Zamzam. They killed people of Zamzam. They evacuate them. They push them out, and they are taking the land, and they are threatening other people to flee from their villages, from their home, from their cities, and to bring new settlers and to make a new demographic map for Sudan. Why? Because this demographic map for Sudan now is not working for them. They want new demographic map. They want a new region that is hostile to Sudan, hostile to Egypt, hostile to any other countries, and to use it easily. But
sir, do they want to use it easily?
It will be difficult.
They wanted to use it easily to attack these countries, sir?
Yes, yes, it's a demographic change. It is not just taking mineral resources. Some people, they made mistake when they said that colonial powers and Israel and others, they won't take the mineral resources. No, if they want to take the mineral resources, they don't kill civilians. They don't genocide tribes. The plan is clear to make a new demographic map for Darfur region, a new power that is easily to be manipulated by them and to be used against the rest of Sudan, against Egypt, against all. This is the target of the militia that used by external powers, and I name them. And now UK directly is playing a very dirty role in Sudan. Definitely Israel directly or through some regional actors, they don't know what they are doing.
Sir, the United States, under, of course, the leadership of Donald Trump, labeled the rapid support forces actions as genocide earlier this year. Yet there's been little follow-up. Why is there such a disconnect between words and actions, sir?
Look here,
I'm looking here.
I served in the United States as a media counsel for 3 years. I know the U.S. politics very well. They are playing what I call it the double containment policy.
Could you say this quote again, sir? What did you say again? Come again, please.
Yes, they are playing what I call it, or it is already called the dual containment policy.
Dual containment policy.
Yes, this is what they are doing. They are practicing the dual containment policy wherever there is two actors or two enemies in the area. They play with both, and they make sure that they are taking side with both, and they make sure the conflict will continue. And this is the American policy in the world, not just in Sudan. They are doing the dual containment policy even with Arab countries. You can look at the Arab countries. Always you see the Arab countries are two camps. Why? Because United States is better for them to make them two camps and to crush them and to push them to fight against each other. So I know that the United States, they classified RSF as a genocidal militia or practicing human rights violation and crimes against humanity. But when you ask yourself what is the step after that, no, the step after that is not against the RSF. They are supporting directly or indirectly London Conference, Geneva Conference, and all these conferences.
So, sir, what do you want to say? Let me summarize what you want to say, please, is that they're working for their own sakes, not for the sake of the Sudanese people and what's happening in Sudan, and for the sake of changing the geopolitical, of course, global dynamics. Let me ask you another question, please, sir. Politico pointed to foreign backing for both sides. How much responsibility lies with external actors, sir?
I think the external actors now, most of them, I cannot say all of them, they are playing very dirty role against Sudan and the unity of Sudan. They want to dismantle Sudan. They even
could you mention them, sir?
The international actors, most of them.
Continue, sir. Continue what you were telling me, sir.
Yes, the international actors, they are playing a very dirty role in Sudan. Some of them, they are supporting the militia directly. Some of them, they are giving the militia a diplomatic cover by receiving them, just like what London or the British government, they have done. They received some of the elements of the militia in the parliament. It's a big joke. Is this the UK or the kingdom of human rights and the place that people call it the haven of democracy? How dare they invite the militia or elements supporting the militia to be present in the British Parliament? How dare they bring the people that they killed, Sudanese people, and they practice the genocide and open for them doors? So when I talk about external actors, I talk about people that they don't help Sudan. We have exceptions that they stood with Sudan. We thank Egypt, we thank Algeria, we thank Qatar, we thank Turkey, we thank Saudi Arabia, we thank Eritrea. I can name a bigger list. People that they help Sudan. Yes, number one is Egypt in receiving the largest number of Sudanese refugees and helping Sudan to stand, and also the first conference, the neighboring countries conference that held in Egypt that stopped the hijack for the Sudanese issue from the regional actors. At that time was the African Union and the IGAD. So that has been stopped by Cairo and the conference of the neighboring countries led by President Assisi. And then the diplomatic efforts of Egypt supporting Sudan always, and also regarding the humanitarian aid to Sudan, and also now the initiative to start the reconstruction of Sudan. The ambassador of Egypt in Sudan, Ambassador Hani, he declared that Egypt will start maintaining 2 bridges in Sudan, not waiting for the international initiative for reconstructing Sudan. That is from Egypt to Sudan and not waiting for the international efforts.
Of course, sir, with your final words, we thank you so much for your informative intellectual knowledge that added to our program today. Mr. Mikki Al-Maghrabi, for sharing your expertise and voice during this very urgent, critical time, sir. Sudan is not just another conflict, it's a mirror reflecting our collective conscience and our collective failures. Zamzam was a place of refugee. Now it is a warning. If we do not act, history will remember our silence. We'll be back next time right here on In Focus. Thank you very much for watching.